Welcome to One Story House with me, Lorraine Moselle, as I do my second Indie Spotlight, where I highlight, where I review an indie author, a self-published, yes, that's what I do, self-published author. So I'm already tongue-tied and I just got started. That does not bode well. But getting to it, today I'm going to talk about PERMAFROST by Armand Rosamilia, who I met through his channel, Armand's Opinion, and I enjoy his chat. We're not going to get into that today. We're going to talk about the book, okay? So, I was told this is Pulp Fiction. So I asked the guys at Armand's Opinion during a live stream chat, what is Pulp Fiction? So they gave me a little quick answer. Didn't help, fellas. I'm sorry. It just wasn't enough. So I consulted the internet, as any wise person does. And I found out that Pulp Fiction is something that was around several decades ago and was a big thing. It was cheap. It was generally something serialized and tossed out to the masses, and that it was for entertainment. I mean, it was full of adventure and some rough characters a lot of times, and just kind of a wild ride, just for entertainment, and just to have fun. And that's what this was, a lot of fun. Now, that being said, there's a lot to unpack here, okay? Now, first off, let me say, and ignore this cord. Ignore it. It's bouncing around. This is my light source so that it balances the light from the window, okay? Don't need those shadows. I'm too old for that, people, okay? Now, this book being Pulp Fiction, now I didn't realize what that was at first when I started reading it, okay? So I got through to almost the halfway point where it started into part 2, and I'm not going to give any spoilers. And then I got really, really confused, but I'll talk about that in a minute. This book has a lot to unpack because, unlike what I found out about Pulp Fiction, where it just seems to be light is not the word. It's like I said, it's more like it's not going to be heavy, deep things to mull over in your head. However, when you take Pulp Fiction and you mix it with Armand Rosamilia's brain, there's going to be some depth there. And that's what I liked about it the most. That it wasn't just for the ride, the fun ride, the roller coaster of adventure. Now, I never read his series, the Dying Days series, okay? I didn't read it. This is supposed to be set in a world 30 years later after the zombies are gone, okay? The zombies are gone. Which, I'm fine with, and I don't mind a good zombie story. I am partial. I am partial to zombie stories to some degree, if they're well done. And honestly, have you ever seen a well done one outside of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead? Well, no, I haven't. Outside of that franchise, I have not. And I'm kind of one of those people who hates to admit that they liked watching anything to do with that franchise. But, they roped me in. It roped me in with those characters. So did Armand Rosamilia. So if you like Fear the Walking Dead, any of those, Daryl, all of those people, yes, Daryl. I like Daryl. Then you will love this book. The world is now past the apocalyptic fights and so forth with the zombies, and now we have a world covered in ice and snow and getting worse by the moment. And lawlessness, people have gone crazy. People have started rounding up people to be slaves. It's incredible. The where this world has gone, you know. So hopefully we never end up with an ice age around here, because this guy's already seen it and it's not pretty, okay? So this story starts off with two young kids, Parker and his sister Becky. And they are part of a small family. And the parents and the grandfather, the parents are away. They're trying to get some food for the family. And food is very, very, very hard to come by in this world, as you can imagine, being covered in ice and snow and still snowing every day. And the two kids start out on an adventure. And one thing also that I really enjoyed about this book is the perspective. The author, he is a white guy from New Jersey living in Florida, but his characters, they are primarily a black family, and how they struggle and deal with the situations of the racism that's in this world, and actually growing in this world of ice and snow instead of getting better. And it's just not what I would have expected from Pulp Fiction, from what I read about the description and so forth. So I was thoroughly engrossed with the story right from the very beginning of the two kids, Parker and Becky. Parker is 12-ish. I don't think he totally knows how old he is, because the calendar that they use, they've reused it year after year, and then when their parents don't come back and time just keeps going by and they don't know, there it goes, sorry, and they don't know how much time has gone by and so forth. He thinks he's 12. I actually think he's probably older than that by this time, maybe 13, maybe a little older, who knows. I don't know how time would pass for me if I were stuck in snow, but I kind of have an idea. Just by the way time goes by so strangely in my own household, being stuck in my house all the time. But I digress, as I often do. But I'm coming back around. The two kids, Becky is 8, I believe. Again, she may be 9, but the kids are great. Their dynamics between each other. I was just totally in love with these kids from the very beginning, and rooting for them and their grandfather, and the dynamics there were well portrayed, I thought. Very, very realistic, and also the author was very, very good at drawing you into the fold, like you're part of their family and you want to root for these kids, and you feel bad for how they're living, and they've never known anything but ice and snow. They never knew the world before that time, and so you get to see it through their eyes. And then, like I said, about halfway through the novel, not quite there, part 2 starts, and it immediately jumped from the kid's perspective to and the grandfather to the father who had been missing, the father and the mother. That was jarring, I must say. That was jarring to me, because there was this whole flavor going on that I was just very into, and then all of a sudden it just changed like that, and I was like, wait, what is going on? Well, it switched into what I think is actually truly the Pulp Fiction of this book. And that was jarring to me, because the first part did not feel like the definition of Pulp Fiction that I've read recently. I'll get it right. I read, we all read. Anyway, so I had to take a step back, and I even asked on the chat, what was that? And so I could get my bearings again, because I don't want to do any book review for a book based solely on my limited scope. So if I don't know a genre, I have to learn more about it. I have to at least read up on it enough that I can give it a fair shake before I give it a review. Because that wouldn't be fair to the author if I just said, I only read romance novels, and this thriller novel I hated it because there was so much mystery and suspense and killing and dead girls. Yeah, no. I don't want to do that. I don't plan on doing that. So when I found out, okay, it's Pulp Fiction, and I looked up Pulp Fiction, I'm like, oh, okay, so this second part really leans heavily into the Pulp Fiction part. And the first part, I think maybe the author doesn't realize it, or maybe he does. He's a very smart, wise man. But maybe he didn't realize that he was leaning into a deeper core than Pulp Fiction is known for. And maybe, again, maybe that was totally intentional, because it was an amazing hook for someone like me who doesn't read Pulp Fiction, because I was like, hey, I'm into this. I want to see what happens to these kids. And then all of a sudden it switches gears. And I now, once I found out what it was, what Pulp Fiction was about, I was like, okay, I'll look at it through that lens and then proceed. So that helped immensely. It really did. And I was able to say, okay, this is the entertainment for entertainment's sake, in a sense. But as I got past that first chapter in the second part, and then I got to the mother's perspective, Bernie. So the father, his name is Patsy, actually, and they call him Prophet, or he calls himself Prophet in this book. I don't know, because I didn't read Dying Days. I need to amend that one day. And his wife is Bernie. Once I got to her perspective, it was back like the road just smoothed out, smooth sailing again. There was lots of adventure, but the time I was in her head while I was reading her chapters, I felt like it was more in keeping with the first chapters, the first part of the book, where I was really rooting for the kids and so forth. Now, the chapters with the father did start coming around. Once I got over that one chapter, it was just that one chapter, if I recall, that snagged me, that felt out of keeping with the rest, and then it was smooth sailing the rest of the way, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. But if you're not one who wants to, let's just say it this way: if you're looking for something heavy, you want Tale of Two Cities, don't bother picking up Pulp Fiction. But if you do want something like Pulp Fiction, but you don't want to totally check your brain out and you want to have something with a lot of heart, Permafrost is for you. Oh, there's my son, right on cue. Not really. I'm almost done. Yes, I am, son. So I would definitely tell you, check it out. You'll enjoy it. I did. The ending, I was like, stick the ending. Please stick the ending. Because so many authors do not. And I could read a book, enjoy it, and then the last little bit, I'm like, no, that just didn't do it for me. This one was a good ending. I was satisfied. Did it totally wow me? But no, it didn't. But was it supposed to? I don't think so. I mean, again, it's not that type of fiction. You have to go into it with the right mindset to thoroughly enjoy it. Just like you don't go watching soap operas thinking that you're going to get psychological suspense out of it, or a major theme that just tears at your mind for the next 3 days. No, it's not like that. But if you want something about a family in a very difficult time, then this is the book for you. In fact, I feel like he kind of missed his calling in a sense, because I know from what I've read in here with how he treats his characters, the depth of how they feel for things, for each other, for all these things that they express, and how he has a very, I don't even know how to say it exactly, and I usually have plenty of words, but he has a way with words and a brevity with words, but he still is able to convey this deep-rooted sense of humanity and how others are supposed to be treated. And I don't think that you can find that out there in most books. I would imagine, certainly not in Pulp Fiction. Not that I know it again, but from what I read of the description, that doesn't seem like something that, the Pulp Fiction crowd is waving a flag about. But I was very impressed. It wasn't as if he had an agenda of let's just paint this group as racist and this group is okay and all of that. No, I thought he painted people pretty clearly. And in fact, it was very delineated of goodbye, that's great, good guy, bad guy, in the sense that the good guys got to win, and not all of them, but the better the person, the more they got to win. And I kind of liked being able to root for that, root for the good guys, and that the bad guys got their just reward. Just rewards? No, just desserts. Isn't that what they say? Isn't it? I'm not sure. Armand, your writing has more depth than it should for Pulp Fiction. But that means that I'm looking forward, for sure, to this next novel that you're writing. Okay? So if you're listening, and I hope you are, I can't wait for that Southern Gothic noir. Okay? Because I just know it's going to have everything that I'm looking for in a book. So stay tuned with me, because I hope to go over that book as well in the near future. He's still working on it, but he works fast. So if you enjoyed what I said about what I enjoyed about this book, then please run out and get it. Amazon has it. Go pick it up. I did. You'll be glad you did too. All right, take care. Bye-bye.